ATPA Power Pulling Series. So sit back and enjoy every minute. It's powered to the extreme, coming at you next.
The ATPA and Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series are back home again in Arcola, Indiana for the 50th annual Chevrolet Power Pull. A portion of the proceeds, well, that'll benefit the Arcola Volunteer Fire Department. Great red truck, great weather, if it holds. Two classes are going to be contested here today. The Duramax Diesel Pro Stock Tractors. Points are really up in the air. Scott Typen, Boyd's, Iron Dragon, Mastersons, all in the hunt. Then the Jasper Engines Super Modified Tractors, Joe Ader. Huge point lead, but he's not going to be able to complete the entire circuit. Jerry Stewart, Bob Jostick, and then the engine master, Ken Venny, who runs just 3 engines while everyone else has 4. What's going to happen? We'll find out as we're going to the pulling action.
Thank you very much, Rick Carlson. The Jasper Engine Super Modified Tractors are up first. Ted Jones and Tom McConnell here, Mike side with you in the booth. Our first puller will be Bill Leischner out of Weldon, Illinois. A big 4-engine Super Modified.
4 Hemis producing in excess of 10,000 horsepower, dragging 60,000 pounds, 345 feet. This sport is awesome. Let's check it out on the Lucas Oil replay, Ted.
Well, you can see he came off very easily right there. Tires not spinning at all, keeping the front end on the ground. Now he has to apply a little bit of brake in order to straighten it out as it tries to pull off one direction there. Now the tires are starting to spin. See the dirt churning? Well past the finish line.
You just hooked up a full pull. That looked easy.
Well, it felt pretty good. When I came with it this time, we had it in bigger gear, and it finally come alive. I think the front end come up. It's the best hook we made out of the first 6. We got a new motor configuration for the Tristler-sponsored fast sprayer tractor. Notice the gearbox is between the motors. We're playing some games there between the motors.
Well, that's it. You threw the gauntlet down. You showed them what they got to do. Bill Leischner.
Well, we'll see if that new gearbox between the motors works. Here comes a guy that does it with 3 engines, made his reputation in drag racing of all things, famous for producing drag racing heads, Ken Venny.
Oh, Ted, a guy that you know well, and look at what he's doing in the sport of pulling. He is awesome, throwing dirt everywhere. We're going to have a pull-off. As we look into the eyes of Joe Eder, Rick Carlson spoke with him earlier.
Jasper Engines Best Engineered Award goes to the current points leader, Joe Ader. Joe, 4 great big Hemis. Best engineered it has to be to get all that power back to these big tires.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and you know, we've been at it a long time, you know, trying to stay on top and winning a lot of pulls in a row, and just having good equipment and working hard in the shop and keeping everything rolling. I mean, it's tough, but we're staying on top.
You've been on a pretty good hot streak recently.
Yeah, it's we're up to 20 in a row from last year all the way to last weekend. We broke, and we got fixed back up, and we won last night, and hoping to do well here tonight.
Putting everything back together, you've got those 4 great big Hemis. What do you use to transfer the power back to the differential and the tires?
Well, basically what we got is 2 motors coupled together as a V16, and they go through a slipper clutch back to a cross box, and then from there right back to a forward and reverse box, and then right into a differential, into a rear end that goes to the planetaries.
You just got gears from front to back, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's just a lot of gears, and hopefully they all stay in there.
A lot of motors there, a lot of work, a lot of engineering.
I don't know if you heard that right, Ted. Joe Ader has won 20 pulls in a row. He's going for win number 21 in a row. No one has ever done that in the sport of pulling. He is the guy to beat, and no surprise.
340 feet he will be in that pull-off. And as we take a look at our next competitor, hooking, let's go down to the finish line once again with Rick.
Is that what you do to start that win streak again?
That was time trials there. That's putting heat in the motors. Now next time to get serious, come back, show them how it's done.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Here comes Scott Tenor, Mr. Twister, out of Indiana.
Brand new tractor. Of course, he used to run 4 Chevrolets. He has switched to 3 Hemis running the big superchargers. Maiden voyage and out of bounds.
Yeah, completely out. Look at the sled. He drug it completely out of bounds. Tried to get it corrected. Now what happens is one tire gets all the traction, the other one spins. As we take a look right there at Bob Jostock, the end result is the tractor can turn violently one direction or another. Now, he has his engines all mounted outboard, Tom.
That's the way Bob thinks it's going to get the most traction and power into the track. Well, he's got it right. He will get in the pull-off.
332 feet. Let's take a look right now how it stands. We have 4 competitors that had a full pull. Of course, Scott Tenor went out of bounds. So coming up next will be the pull-off. When we return, stay tuned. This ESPN2 Speed World coverage of the 50th Annual Chevrolet Power Pool from Arcola, Indiana is being brought to you by Chevrolet. With 10 new vehicles, Chevrolet is an American revolution. And by Lucas Oil Products, #1 in the trucking industry. We'll move into that pull-off right now in Super Modified, beginning with Bill Leischner. Now, they pull in the same order they pulled originally. That's the rules.
Bill Leischner, the guy that has won 2 Lucas Oil World Championships, doing some experimentation this year, kind of running behind the scenes, well overdue for a victory. 320.42. They've added a ton of weight to the sled. So that's a very good run, Ted. Let's check it out with the Lucas Oil replay.
Well, we saw the weight going in the sled when we went into break. You're right. And he loses about 20 feet is all it cost him. Notice now how he's using the brakes to stay right down that out-of-bounds line.
320.42. I think you really gave a number for everybody to shoot at.
We're getting something good to shoot at, didn't we, Rick? Felt pretty good. I was on the brake about 3/4 the way. I don't know how much it hurt it. Maybe it helped hook it up, but had to ride the left brake. It was going to the right pretty bad.
That's it, but you were able to save it. You put the numbers down. Now you're going to be able to watch.
Joe Eder's been awful tough. I mean, he's almost unbeatable. Unless he goes out worse and has to hit the brake harder, we'll see. At least we give him a shot. And we made it about as good as we can do. The old Tristler-sponsored dirt slinger and fast spraying vehicle did pretty good, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
By the way, Ken Vinny, our next puller, calls it the funny Farmall. That's originally an International Farmall tractor that looks funny now.
Yeah, with 3 Hemis, I would say so. Look at the way Vinny's got it hooked into the track. Look at the dirt he's churning up, Ted.
He's going right across that finish line. Oh, less than a foot behind. Wow. And he did it with 3 engines. He has another threat now. Bob Jostock will not make the pull-off. He has broken and cannot make it. So here's the last guy that could take the lead away from Bill Leischner.
Joe Eder going for win number 21 in a row, but look at the back motor, fuel coming out. It will not happen. Leischner wins it.
Everybody tried, but your number you set was good.
Oh, man, Rick, to get by Eder, he's been tough all year. He lost a motor down there at the end and hit the brake hard. All of us were on the brake. Boy, Ken Vinny made a heck of a pass. And I'll tell you what, the fans here are getting to see one of the best mod shows in the country. I mean, 340 feet and come back to pull off 320. I mean, the fans are really lucky here. I'm just glad to represent Tristler and Fast Sprayers and ATPA and Lucas Oil and everybody that's involved and all the fans.
Bill Leischner, your super modified champion. Great job.
Oh, thanks very much. I want to thank all the sponsors.
Well, we're getting a great show at home, too, as we go to the leaderboard sponsored by Valco. Here's the way they finished up. Bill Leischner would be your winner. Now let's check in again with Rick Carlson.
With the cost of heating oil and other fuels going sky high, ATPA has a brand new sponsor, and that's Burns Best. Terry Volstead, tell us what we have here. What does Burns Best do?
Well, we've got an outdoor wood furnace here. We're going to do our houses, barns, water heaters. We can heat all sorts of facilities with these products. And at all of our wood costs, match it up to fuel. What are we saving here?
So we take our, basically this is a wood furnace, big enough at this size. What size facility does this heat?
Oh, this one will go up to about 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. We can go 20,000 square feet with some larger models. If we really want to step up to it, we have a Pelco stove. It's a self-feeding. We can burn wood, corn. We can load it once a month, once a year. If that doesn't meet your needs, we can do a waste oil furnace. Burns Best has a new waste oil furnace on the product line. We can meet any need with all these alternate fuels.
Thank you very much, Rick. Now the Duramax Diesel Pro Stock Tractor category, a big John Deere, bringing her up to speed. You'll see the turbocharger kick in. This is Larry Shope of the Iron Dragon.
Oh, I love watching these Duramax Diesel Pro Stocks run at night, Ted. When they launch off the starting line, the big flame comes out, followed by the smoke, and look under Larry Shope. All kinds of water coming out from underneath. It's not supposed to do that, Ted.
298 feet will set the mark to beat. Let's take another look at it. See, when all that black smoke starts rolling and turns black, you know those turbos are really putting out then. But you're right, Tom. Water coming out from underneath is not a good sign.
Not what he wants at all. Starts to bounce there at the end, red flagged, and he could have some internal engine damage.
Coming up next will be Craig Wildman on the Die Hard Deere #2 out of Wisconsin.
Huge farmers from up in the Badger State. In fact, usually you would see these guys running the regional circuit with the Badger State pullers, but now they are pro pullers here on the Lucas Oil Grand American Series. Craig will come up short. 293 will not get it done.
Here's a guy that could do it, though. Scott Typen, who pulls all the time out of Indiana. He calls it the nightlight.
Your defending Lucas Oil world champion on his way to an awesome run. That tractor is hooked, Ted. When that tractor does that at 100 feet, watch out, but he runs out of power at the end. Wow,
what
this
happened?
track is aggressive.
No kidding, 296 feet is not good enough for the lead. It's only good enough for #2. We've got more, though, when we continue from Arcola, Indiana. Stay with us. From Arcola, Indiana, you're tuned into the 50th Annual Chevrolet Power Pull. We're right in the middle of the Duramax Diesel Pro Stock Tractor category, a part of the ATPA Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series. And here comes Mike Linder, who will be our next puller from Edison, Ohio. He calls the tractor the Linder Brothers. Now, that's original.
Of course, the Linder Brothers, one of the early pro stock teams out of the state of Ohio. Never count these guys out. Won the World Pulling Expo in Mansfield, Ohio earlier this year. 293. Man, they are getting close.
Indeed they are. Now our next puller is John Roberts, and Rick Carlson filed this report on him earlier today.
The Lucas Oil best appearing tractor, the Duramax Diesel Pro Stock Tractor class. It is John Roberts, Badger State Pullers Association, and his international called Madness. Wow, turbo and all.
Yes, it is.
Now, you tripped down, not a real long one, but you represent Badger State Pullers down here with the rest of the gang. Tough competition.
You bet it is. It's the toughest we've ever seen.
Great big full field here. Now, how is Madness going to stack up?
Well, I'd like to get near the top. We've been there, and sometimes we're not. It mixes up.
Just depends on how you read the track, where you have the weight and everything. It's a good-looking tractor. Where did the name Madness come from?
Well, the owner of the farm where we work, she gets mad when we go pulling, so it's actually Marge's Madness.
Marge's Madness, and I see that we have a branding iron. Did that hit anybody on the team?
Well, that's just an old international logo that we got off of a tractor that was at a field trial. So we copied that off.
Okay. Best appearing tractor, Madness, from the Badger State Pullers.
All right, thank you very much, Rick. Let's see how well Madness can do as he spools up the turbo.
This particular class has been dominated by the John Deeres. The International Harvester fans, of course, in this sport, it's red versus green. The red ones have really been out to lunch here recently, and wow, 10 feet off. Roberts. Seems like the guys getting off on the right-hand side of the track are not doing well. Looks like the traction is better on the left-hand side as we check out Kevin Schmucker, another really strong puller from the Buckeye State.
Another John Deere, I should point out. Seems like the John Deeres are really dominating this turbocharged diesel category.
Very much the case. Schmucker comes up short. 289 will not get the job done, but let's check out the Lucas Oil replay and what it looked like to sit in the seat.
Look at the amount of vibration right there on the right-hand side of your screen. That's what that head and helmet is going through of that driver right now. He's feeling all that vibration and shake while he goes down the track. Not a smooth ride, as you can well see. Now things are turning red again. I just said it was being dominated. Trent Floyd now will bring things back to the international side of things.
Floyd, though, having some problems, clutch slipping off the starting line. Don't know if that was intentional or not. No, definitely having clutch problems. Wow, 280 feet. She starts bouncing down on the far end, and look at the turbocharger just glowing. It was so hot underneath the hood.
Lance Little in the gang green. Now let's find out. Is it that these tractors are weaker, or is the track going away, Tom?
Ted, these are some of the strongest pro stocks ever assembled on the Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series. I think you got to look at something. Larry Shope is awesome. Lance Little goes into the center of the track. And remember something else, too. Larry Shope on that left-hand side of the track. So I think it's a horsepower situation. Shope is just up.
Well, we'll see one more time with Ed Ellenfeld. He calls it the Nameless, another John Deere.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. The track is taking these guys any which way but straight. 295 right in the hunt, though, Ted.
Yep, he's right in the middle of it. Maybe the track's not going away. Kevin Masterson, the famous Masterson Farms team, one of two tractors, the River Rat Rider.
Oh, man.
Oh, did he just blow that engine?
Ted, wow. Right off the starting line, you're looking at about $50,000 worth of damage, and he went 1 feet. I mean, ouch.
Steve Wishmeyer barely getting by out of Seymour, Indiana. Let's see if he can take the lead. Remember, the number to beat, Larry Shope has it at 298 feet. Oh, high in the air with that front end.
That's the way the Wishmeyer team likes to run it, but they like it to stay up. Starts bouncing, and he will come up short. 294 will not get it done. This is one heck of a pull, Ted.
Well, that was good enough for fourth place. Right here's the Valco leaderboard. As we go to break, take a look at how they stack up. Larry Shope still in the lead at 298 inches. We'll be back with the finals after this. This ESPN2 coverage of the 50th annual Chevrolet Power Pull from Arcola, Indiana is being brought to you by Duramax Diesel, the most powerful diesel engines available in a heavy-duty pickup. And by Jasper Engines and Transmissions, the nation's leader in remanufactured engines and transmissions. We continue on now with the finals. Mickey Shorter, we're into the Pro Stock Diesel category. Buck Eater, he calls it.
And if you look close where it says Buck Eater, there's all kinds of little bitty dollar signs engraved on the side of that tractor. Oh, Mickey's going to come up short, though. Wow, way short. Ted, I think we might actually be seeing the track going away. I think it's still taking the power, but it's been chewed up so much by the other competitors. Unless you can get everything balanced just right, the track is going to take you left, right, and any which way but straight, so you really got to be careful to go through it. Sarver, man, an awesome pull. He could be right in the hunt.
Wow.
295. But, Ted, if it had been earlier in the day, I think you would have seen Sarver out there. That was a heck of a run.
Well, here's a guy that should be able to do it. He may take the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Boyd and the Green Streak.
Never count this guy out. Two-time Lucas Oil Pro Stock World Champion. All over the track. It's pulled him over, too. Does he get it done? Yes. He's got the power to do it.
300 feet, a full pull. That takes the lead away. Now, you're going to have to go a full pull if you're going to beat this guy as we take a look at it with the Lucas Oil Instant Replay. You can see the way he did it. Although he went all over the track, moving left and right, which means he had to hit the brake each time. He still had the power to hit the finish line.
Waiting and waiting for that full pull. It took a while, but you had it.
Well, we were pretty fortunate there. We had a good hook and it run good. And they're new tractors this year, and we're taking a while to get them ironed out. But we're coming.
Hey, it's not over yet. There could be another full pull. The track is there if they can just get it hooked up. Randy Campbell with the Soup Line Express is going to take a shot at it with his John Deere.
Oh, listen to the Soup Line scream. He is running one of the smallest motors in the class. One of the top regional pullers, runs the Schmucker series out in the eastern United States. He will come up short, but a very respectable run as we check out Greg Boyd. We just saw his father, Steve, make the first full pull. Let's see what the trailer mate can do as Green Streak number 2 heads down the way. Ted, he is balanced good.
And he's going straight down the center of that track. He has a full pull. Greg Boyd, the Boyd family, coming in here and dominating. Believe me, the track is not going away. Let's go to Rick.
Well, it's going to be Green Streak 2, and at least the Boyd's in the pull-off.
Yeah, we're very happy with that. There's a good tractor back here left. Don's awful tough. He'll put it right down here with us. I tell you what, we got to be really happy. Lucas Oil has been a big supporter and helper of ours, and along with the whole series, Jimmy Martin and Forrest Lucas, those guys, we can't help but thank those guys enough. Riverside Engines, Columbus Diesel, Bob Parks, Tim Engler, they've all been great to us, and we'll see what happens.
Now, we talked about the Mastersons earlier. You had Kevin Masterson. Here's Father Don on the Tinker toy. This guy could go out.
Oh, easy. Easy. 7 times he has won the National Farm Machinery Show between he and his son Kevin in Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, bouncing. 293's not going to get it done. Smoke rolling off the tires. Wow, they are turning them hard, Ted.
Well, one final puller to try and make the pull-off coming up right now with the Die Hard Deer.
Kurt Wildman taking the Die Hard Deer. Not very far, Ted. Some internal engine damage. When that smoke goes from black to gray, well, there's problems.
Let's go into the pull-off right now, starting with Steve Boyd, the Green Streak, father and son pull-off.
Reminds you of the days when the McPherson team used to dominate the super modified funny truck categories. Of course, I'm talking about Richard McPherson and his son, the late Jeff McPherson. But right now, we are in the pull-off for the Duramax Diesel Pro Stocks. Steve Boyd, the father, will set the mark to beat at 3:06.
And we have the floating finish line here in the pull-off. In other words, it's not 300 feet. It's how far you can pull. I don't care if you drive it all the way to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
That's right. That's right. Wow. Greg has this John Deere balanced good. Is he going to beat the father? No, it's child abuse.
Steve Boyd, you're the champ by 2 feet.
Well, thank you. We're happy to do that. I didn't know I was afraid to get me there. I got a little crooked in the pull-off, but we're happy, you know. We've had a hard time. They're new tractors this year, and we've really struggled to get them right, and hopefully they're getting pretty close.
So here's the way they finished up the 2 full pulls in first and second. We show you all the way down through 10th place. Now, one more award we have yet to present. We save it for the end of every show. It's the Burns Best Hot Pull of the Day.
It's got to be Bill Leishner taking the victory in the Jasper Engine Super Mod, knocking Joe Eder out of his winning spree.
That'll be a wrap. From Arcola, Indiana, I'm Ted Jones. For Rick Carlson and Tom McConnell, thanks for watching. So long, everyone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.